like I've mentioned before, AMC, tickers like GME, Mullen, these tickers are absolutely dependent on broader market cycles. Let's go ahead and find out what could be happening for AMC in the following sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this Hump Day Wednesday. This is ARCa coming at you with an AMC technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Okay, so we are looking at AMC on the daily chart here, and what I meant earlier, what I meant in the intro is that we are dependent on the broader market cycles is the fact that Federal Chair, the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, actually came out and stated the potentials or the high likelihood of the Fed maintaining a hawkish stance moving forward. So they're going to be reactive to the data is essentially what they're saying, right? So what we're doing right now is pricing in what he said. Okay, so we never know what the Fed is going to say. Okay, so he can essentially pause this entire movement that we're facing in the broader markets, AMC included. Okay, so what could it mean for the future of this, though? So this is a very precarious situation that we're in right now, okay? Because on the 14th of this month, my cursor is actually landing. You can see the dates right down here, right? So on the 14th of this month, we are going to be facing the CPI data release, okay? So upon that CPI data release, if we get a CPI beat, then the markets will likely continue to the upside. If we get a miss, please expect a capitulation event on the broader market space. So if the SPY and the NASDAQ, I'm talking about the S&P 500 and the NDX, right? If those start to capitulate, if they start dropping, definitely expect the broader market space and everything around it to start following that downward path as well. Okay, you guys, regardless of what's happening within the AMC movement. Now, the price action that we face today, we kind of already expected yesterday via the gap that we actually caught, right? So where is that gap? Let's go ahead and face it. This gap right here. So we said if sentiment feels like it, then we would go ahead and likely fall right back down into this space here. So I said my lowest target would be around what, like $5.80, and we would actually bounce to the upside. So we actually found a support from about $5.61, and we're currently sitting in post market at about $5.75. Okay, so not bad. We did kind of see this coming. The other thing that we also saw coming for a downside was the fact that on a daily iteration we printed a bearish engulfing formation, candle pattern formation, right? So this actually represents a bigger body of a red candle engulfing the previous smaller green body. Okay, so this formation is usually bearish, and it suggests a continuation to the upside, which is why we were able to say that the potential of closing this gap was a little higher for today. Okay, you guys, so these are the very small nuances that we have to kind of take a look at. It's very interesting how this printed, and we got some weird Fed news, right? So let's go ahead and continue on with the analysis here. So in the statistical side of the analysis, momentum has now kind of reversed a little bit, but please, I want you to not look at this as like a huge panic. It's just a warning signal. It is an ebb and flow here, right? So something that we usually do. So what I'm trying to say is that this doesn't mean it's the reversal here, because if you can see here on this upward movement, we actually faced that similar, literally from exactly the same area here. Please look at the cursor all the way. I'm going to just put a line right at the top of this area here so you can see, and make this a little larger. So right here, right? We'll make this horizontal line. Now let's minimize this and take a look at the price action right over here. Okay, so we were rising. We reached the top where we're currently at right now, right? And then we actually started reversing, and then we made a continuation to the upside. Okay, you guys? So that is essentially what could possibly be happening upon a good CPI beat. Okay, if we get a CPI miss, then it would be something more like this. Okay, but we don't want that. And actually all the numbers except for the jobs report, right, which has a lot of speculation behind it, right? We don't know if they were actually true numbers and all that whole jazz, right? So whatever that was, Everything else is still suggesting that we may be the inflation has actually come down just a little bit. Okay, so and we are maintaining it pretty nicely. Okay, so this is essentially what could potentially be happening with momentum. Okay, so we could be actually taking that breather for reaccumulation and then a continuation to the upside. Another little hint to be able to tell that that could be a potential is, let's just hide everything here and we can actually see that we're making a natural ebb and flow here. I'm talking about the market ebb and flow, the up and down and up and down zigzag. We're making a series of higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so it's a very rudimentary way of looking at the markets and seeing trend, right? So now let's go ahead and continue on with the analysis yet again and see what we have as potentials. Okay, so what I want to reference actually is momentum, and we're gonna start this off with the immediate short-term time frame, just like we always do on the 30-minute. So the 30-minute is actually at the border. So this is the bear strength percentile, okay, and the other half of this lower section is the bear weakness percentile, and as you can imagine, it would be the bull weakness and bull strength, right? So we are right at the junction between the bull strength and the bull weakness, and that is the gravitational zone that would essentially push us to the upside. Please remember that it is a 30-minute time frame and it is likely to live out pretty fast. Okay, so moving on. So the buy hourly is also suggesting an upside continuation as well, but please notice that we've actually been using that 14-day simple moving average represented by that pink line. The RSI signal is the purple one. So it looks like we have been using it as a form of resistance and kind of a guide towards the way down. So it looks like we're going to face an upside continuation, but likely to be a limited one for the immediate short term. Okay, so this is not including movement for next week or nothing like that. Okay, so now the 6-hour time frame, you can actually see that upward momentum is starting to slow down just a little bit. In fact, the only saving grace within this potential here is the fact that we are within that gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, okay, which would essentially pull us right back up, but we would again face a limited upside based on this 14-day simple moving average landing above us. Okay, so now, and this is where it starts to get, as we get closer and closer to the CPI read on the 14th of February, we're going to start to notice some consolidation. And that's like in respects to that data release, okay? Because I can't express how important it is for, okay, please remember, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever, okay? I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be just fine. What I was gonna say is that I can't express the importance of someone who's not, if you're not an experienced trader, consider staying cash during these times, because these are extremely turbulent times in the markets. The easier trades and the better opportunities would land after the CPI read. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that you're essentially gambling your money at this point. Okay, we don't know what that CPI is going to be. We don't know what the Fed is going to say. So those factors, and even the economists have been the analysts. They've been trying to kind of forecast what the Fed is going to say based on historical events, and they've been wrong every single time they've increased the rate. So that just goes to show that even the professionals don't have a handle over this, is because whatever's happening in Jerome's head is whatever's happening in his head. And we're never going to know. Nobody's going to know ever. Okay, you guys? So I can't express to you how the importance of maybe keeping that dry powder on the side for a better opportunity after these turbulent times. Okay, you guys? But please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only expressing my honest truth and based on, prior experience, and just I would really hate to hear people lose any money, right, you guys? We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we can preserve our hard-earned cash and preserve our families, our family's money, right? So let's go ahead and continue on with the analysis here. So the daily time frame is suggesting a continuation to the downside as well. Now, this one's a bit weird here, and the reason why I'm saying this is because we have used it as a support by failing it, right? So in this case, it could be facing a very limited downside, meaning that we're going to reach just a little bit lower, right? And then we can actually recover. And the reason why I say that we can recover and not continue is based on the 5-day iteration and actually the 3-day one too. The 3-day and 5-day RSI are suggesting a limited downside because we have that support from the 14-day simple moving average right below us. Okay, so we can use that as a bounce to the upside. So this is why I'm saying that the daily may actually face a limited downside before a continuation to the upside. Okay, so if we're looking at a limited downside here, let's just refer back to our momentum. Immediate upside, right? We have upside, and it's starting to kind of consolidate here, followed by some downside. So that zigzag that it's essentially giving us is in respects to these targets now. Okay, so if we can face an upward or an upward continuation here, to tell you the very honest truth, I'm not sure that what I'm trying to say is that we would face the resistance of the gap. Okay, so it would be likely to about $5.94, right, before we can actually face a little bit of a downside continuation, potentially find support from that area of about $5.51 in respects to all these candles here. And then we could continue on to the upside, okay? But please notice the price action as to how it's moving here, okay? We have the tiny little candle here, and then it comes back down. Usually there is one more cycle to do this before we continue on to the upside, okay? So we could face 3 of these cycles. 4 would be the absolute least. But usually what happens here is that some people call this ladder attacks, right? But this is these are very typical market conditions upon macroeconomic data releases like the CPI. This is very typical. Okay, so we can actually face this zigzag like this, and then when we reach all the way down here, then we would actually start this consolidation, right? And then we would actually continue on to the upside in the event to where we do get a CPI. Please remember that everything is dependent upon the macroeconomic releases coming up. Okay, you guys, that is the most important thing that we have to look out for. Right now, it is not the sentiment of AMC. It is the sentiment of the broader market spectrum. Okay, you guys, so please be careful, like I said, and let's go ahead and continue validating our moves. We'll continue looking at AMC and just looking at the potentials as we move forward. Okay, but as of now, just know that we're still in that higher high, higher low structure, and everything is still looking pretty good thus far. Okay, you guys, so please remember that in the description below, you'll find the affiliate link for TradingView software if you would like to go ahead and trade like me or draw alongside me, right? And you can share some of your drawings with me on Twitter or on Discord, as a lot of members have already been doing. Okay, so we can absolutely discuss this. All right, you guys. So with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.